It's your boy Young and Hefe. Don't care about number what the check say.
KBL, you a menace.
Yeah. It's a lot of little boys out here talking that talk, but ain't spinning and walking that walk. 5 bills to get you whacked, 50 shots up in this Mac, face shots to make the news, we just step when they relax, group chats to get you tapped, forehead up in my lap, when they pump we run it back, tell my youngin' cut no slack, 5 bills to get you whacked. What's the good old big deal with the good old people, man? It's your boy Young and Hefe. Don't care about number what the check say. Make sure you go ahead, like and subscribe, because it don't cost you nothing to press that button. And if you ring that notification bell, I'm going to bring you mail. What's the good old big deal with the good old people? It's Hot Topics with your boy Young and Hefe. And I'm here to deliver you another one like the other one. The recipient of Hot Topic is the ICE protests and the ICE movements. The ICE protesters and the ICE movement. That's the recipient of Hot Topics, you know. It's a little political for you guys, but this is what's going on, you know what I'm saying, in the world around us. You know what I'm saying this is something that's very serious. This is something that's monumental. This is something that can be unjust, inhumane. This is something that is very emotional. So we all know since Trump came back into the office that the ICE authorities been out in full swing, pulling up in communities, arresting people, pulling up to graduations in schools, all type of stuff, and they've been arresting people. A lot of this stuff is very disrespectful. A lot of this stuff is very disheartening. And I'm not with a lot of these things and the practices of the way America does a lot of things. But as being a citizen of the United States of America, I've been victim to a lot of things. And being that I want to live here, and it ain't that I want to live here. I was born here, you know what I'm saying? I was born here, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, historically, we can go back through the times about, you know what I'm saying, who built the country up and how you was brought here and all that. I don't want to really get too much politically into that. But, you know, if we have to, you know what I'm saying, go down that road, you know what I'm saying, we will. So, however, since all these protests been going on, ICE out tripping in full effect. A lot of illegal immigrants been taken to the streets, been boycotting and protesting. And it's been blacks that emerged themselves out there that's not immigrants, because a lot of people do forget that you do have black immigrants as well. But the majority of the blacks over here in the state are citizens of this native land because our ancestors built this native land. So, with that being said, you've had some blacks take out to the street in full support of the Latinos and the march and push that's going on. However, you would have other blacks, I don't know the percentage, that have been vocal and saying that, hey, man, this ain't our business. Hey, man, why y'all out there? Hey, what y'all doing, man? Hey, we don't get help. Hey, we don't ask for help. And you had Latino protesters shoot back like, oh, what about the George Floyd? You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. It's been all type of stuff. But amongst all this, it was some protests going on, and I guess that some Latino protesters basically felt more enraged to see a black officer out there, and by them seeing this black officer out there, decided to cite the N-word at him. And I don't want to say, because it's been a few situations, I don't know if this is the situation as well that happened to where they like, oh, your people going next or something like that, or they coming for your people next or something like that. But they shouted the N word, and that was just crazy to me. And I'm gonna tell you why it was crazy to me, because more than not likely, they skin tone in our people, or the people that speak they language, are the deepest in law enforcement. And a lot of their people who's not illegals helped get Trump back in office because they felt like it was too much. See, this was not really being talked about, you know what I'm saying? It's a whole lot of rebuttal, all this and that going on, but their own people, which is the majority as well over here, voted to bring Trump back in office, and Trump told people what he was on and what he was going to do. But I don't understand why when you see a black officer, it angers you more. It angers you more. And for real, it ain't no that, oh, watch what they going to do to you next, because they can't do nothing to no black citizens over here. But what they doing, locking them up, you know what I'm saying, creating more laws, you know what I'm saying, to lock them up, you know what I'm saying, for cases that are commercial crimes that they're saying are crimes, you know what I'm saying? So you got to understand, a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, when it's you that's taking the flack, a lot of people don't know how to keep it righteous and mentally stable. Because I'm going to say this. We get locked up all day. People my skin tone and y'all skin tone. But we been public enemy number one. We been that. We been public enemy number one. From slavery to the civil rights movement to these laws and jails that enslave and capture us. Majority of the blacks, if we ain't outright shot each other down, the majority of them people in jail. It is what it is. So, with that being said, the people of ours that came before us are the people that really built this land. No, they ain't called the forefathers outright, but they are the people who built this land. So we didn't ask to be here. They actually, besides, if your people are not indigenous to right here, like of the Moors tribe, and you was one of those black tribes who ancestors was brought over here, we was brought over here and built this up before this was built up. It was farmlands. We can go back into the times, you know what I'm saying, to where it was farmlands and dirt road and all that type of stuff before architectural people start building this land up. So it's like they can't, I mean, they enslaving us the way they enslave us, but to send us back somewhere, they can't send us nowhere because we built this right here, you know what I'm saying? And they brought us over here, you know what I'm saying? But let's get into this content, and y'all already know it's the halfway and the half effect. We gonna commentate.
Best. Two Latino protesters call a black cop the N-word during the LA protest. We can't win like that. Put up the picture full mass. This has to be checked, dealt with, and if not, the narrative will permeate that the actions of the few indicate the actions of the many, and they do not. A video of Latino protesters in LA peppering a black cop with racist slurs. This is being used to discourage unity between the two communities as protesters continue to take the streets in opposition to an actual evil, the Trump administration, and their crackdown on human beings who happen to be migrants. Quote, I'll spit in your face, F your family, N-word, F your kids, N-word, end quote. A young Latino protester yelled this at an unnamed black LA cop who remains calm doesn't respond, does not act unprofessional, does not engage in violating constitutional rights. I'm thankful for you, sir. Quote, I can't sleep comfortably because of you. A young Latino woman says, joining in, calling the officer the N-word repeatedly while getting personal about his eating habits. She signaled she knew him as a customer at Cava, where she works. Put up this picture. You know, Dr. King helped us understand that you cannot get rid of darkness with darkness. Only light can do that. And you cannot become the same evil that you protest to stand against. Put up this next picture. I want to remind everyone the words that I just read, the quotes, are identical to those we are protesting against. MAGA, Trumpites. The exchanges led to an ex-account holder, do-rags and MAGA caps, a pro-Trump account, to capture the video, which was viewed nearly 81,000 times. Quote, Black Americans, this ain't our business. End quote. Another one joked that a cop was behind the X account. Another post expressed disappointment, writing, quote, the N-word use is increasingly disheartening. But that doesn't change the cause. LAPD has terrorized every single minority group at some point and will continue if we keep trying to fight about everything instead of helping as a whole who struggle under the same BS system.
So, y'all heard it right there. Y'all see what's going on. So, because this cop is on duty and doing his job, this cop gets racial slurs thrown at him. Not just racial slurs, but also, I'll do this to your kids, I'll do this to your family. And we not about to sit here and, they enraged and mad because they feel that they family and kids and brothers and sisters, mothers, fathers and stuff like that are being put on the line and being sacrificed. But this the thing. I'm going to break it down like this. This is one cop, one black cop. Even if it was 10 black cops out there, I bet you it's more white cops or more Latino cops on that force than him. That's one thing. All right, I hope you slurring these racial slurs to them and telling them what you're going to do to their kids, cannibal or Hannibal at lecture. You're going to have their kids for lunch and all this crazy stuff because you can't sleep. You mad at one black cop, so you diss a whole, or you whatever you call yourself trying to do, diss a whole race of people or nationality, whatever. You know what I'm saying? However you want to subjugate it. So, let's say this for the illegals. Let's say if I break into your house and I rob you, what are you going to do? You're going to call the police, more than likely, because a lot of you guys, I would think, are civilians. First thing you're going to do, you're going to dial the police number, you're going to call the police, and if the police do apprehend me, or if you got a clear description of me, you're going to want justice for me breaking into your house, because over here in the United States of America, they say that me breaking in your house is against the law, and I can be prosecuted for that. These are amendments rights, constitution rights, all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? We can get as philosophical, as political you want to get. Now, with that being said, it's also an amendment right, and it's also in the Constitution that if you come over here to this country from another country, if you enter this country without the proper documents, that you are an illegal. You are an illegal. That's just what it is. So you can't want justice one way, and then when they trying to push the bar on you about you disobeying the law, but you probably feel because you've been over here so long and then had kids over here and started a family over here that you no longer illegal, or this is a free country, or I've been over here for so long. But these are laws that's put in place. But when you are disrespected and need help, you're going to call on the law enforcement. Now that the same law enforcement are enforcing rules, laws, and regulations that you don't like, it becomes a problem. Now, something else I want to say. This ain't, to a degree, no different than when people my skin tone or of my ethnicity has already endurance. No, we ain't been captured and placed in no jails and been separated from our children. Like, it done been, you know what I'm saying, massively more like like, man, like mind-boggling, like self and destruction. Like, as far as like it ain't like, how can you explain slavery? How can you explain slavery? Y'all fleeing y'all country to come over here. These people was captured from a country. And some people like to say sold. I don't know which one it was because I wasn't there and I didn't endurance it. But my folks, you know what I'm saying, and our ancestors has supposedly endured that. Now, one injustice, right, really don't offshoot the other. But I'm just saying, like, we can go on and on, you know what I'm saying, whether you were sold into it, captured into it, and brought over here, you know what I'm saying, from people falling off them boats, being ate by sharks, to all type of crazy stuff, you know what I'm saying. I don't even really want to talk too much about the trauma, but I'm just kind of through and kind of blue from the situation too. I'm not really surprised, bro, because, you know, who know where that racial line is barred, or where it lurks and irks, you know what I'm saying? But we're going to get into the rest of this footage, and you already know, man, it's the Hef way and the Hef effect. We're going to commentate.
This broke my heart. It broke my heart because we are more effective as a closed fist rather than an open hand. Calling Black people the N-word is the point. It's what we're fighting against. It's the contextualization of being subhuman. You cannot be a protester for human rights while at the same time denying those same human rights to be extended to the individuals who are extending human rights to you. Now, maybe he works for the wrong team, but he violated no rights. You judge a man or woman by the content of their character and not the color of their skin. We're going back to the 60s. There's more. It's a growing sentiment across social media, presenting as a big part of the Black community. Okay, this is your narrative. This is the propaganda, though there's been just as much pushback. Quote, just say you're a coward and move on, responded one commenter on Durags and MAGA Caps feed. Quote, because when they come for you, and they will come for you, nobody will care. Added another. Quote, Black MAGA standing with police and white Americans, end quote. The use of the N-word was also at issue, with some social media users claiming it demonstrates long-held racist attitudes by Latinos against Blacks. Well, certainly those Latinos. But it's not just conservative. Conservatives who are encouraging the Black community to stay on the sidelines. Quote, Black folk go home. Black folks go home. This is not our business, end quote. One woman captured on video yelled as she drove past a protest site. As long as this government is taking 30% off the top of my paycheck, Every damn thing that happens in this nation is my business. All of it is yours too. All right. We have a counter narrative. Here it is.
Been in a recent car accident? You should connect with a qualified attorney. Reason.
If I tell somebody to mind their business, and yet I go on the internet and see them all discussing how they're telling other people not to f with me, I would argue that's not minding your business. Because let's be honest, that what black people are doing is not minding their business. It's actively discouraging these protests and telling other black people to do the same. That's not minding your business. So even if we say that immigration policy is only being wielded specifically against Latin American immigrants, there are black Latin American immigrants. I really don't understand where you're going with that. It doesn't involve us. Second of all, I literally live in the city with the highest Ethiopian population outside of Ethiopia. How do you think they got here if not immigration? And they're black. So I don't understand where we're going with this whole, it doesn't involve us, to fixate on a group of people who already tried to stop this altogether. This is what you all have to understand. I can't speak for you, but my politic does not start and stop on election day. A lot of y'all think that election day is the end all be all of political activity. So you think that if you voted for the quote unquote right person, you did your part and you could throw your hands up and wipe your hands clean of it. If you are someone who is encouraging your ethnic group to not support protests because the people you think are the most involved in these protests did not vote the way that you wanted them to vote, your politic is made of nothing.
Well said. I concur 100%. I stand with individuals who decided not to mind their business, like Marcus Garvey, Rosa Parks, the late Congressman John Lewis, many others. In addition, the civil rights establishment, the National Urban League, meanwhile, is standing firm behind testers. Quote, "We stand in full and urgent."
All in all, like I said, a lot of stuff is done under anger, and it's a lot of pressure out there, you know what I'm saying, when you being told you got to leave somewhere, you know what I'm saying, to be shipped off, you know what I'm saying, back somewhere, but at least it's, you know, where you came from. Yeah, it's just crazy. It's just crazy, like I said, for them to hop out there like that and target the black officer out of all the officers out there. And then, right, so you hear the people that say, oh, ain't nobody gonna care when they come for you, and they will come for you. You can't come from somebody who's a citizen already right there. They already came for us. They enslaved us to jail, you know what I'm saying? They put a lot of laws in place, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of ways that they already enslaved us, and ain't nobody been caring, you know what I'm saying? When Trayvon Martin and all these other dudes and people been getting shot down, ain't nobody been caring. Like, in everything, it's probably a small percentage of every race that come out for another race and speak out and probably get out there and protest and offshoot things, or, you know, just some of these people and dearly believe these beliefs, regardless of who it is or what color. But ain't nobody been caring. So don't talk about ain't nobody gonna be caring because they come and trying to take the Latino immigrants in mass waves, and then when it ain't none left, all y'all next. Like, what y'all don't understand, they used us to build this land. We already been here. So it's like, I'm saying, what are they gonna do? They ain't trying to send us back to Africa. So it's just like, I'm kind of trying to figure out, like, a lot of this stuff, people don't even know what they be saying. They just be speaking out of anger, because it's got to be out of anger and stupidity. Like, what? Like, we was getting K9 sick on us, you know what I'm saying? Getting holes down, all that. Like, it wasn't no help out there. Them was all black folks. Like, it wasn't no help out there. They been tripping with us, and it ain't been no help. And you know what? Cause I got to keep it real here on this channel. Like, regardless of who feeling different, we just going to speak on the facts. Y'all come over here and y'all create opportunities for yourself, you know what I'm saying? Gain businesses and other stuff, and y'all try to join up with the same people who's oppressing y'all. Like, for real, a lot of y'all oppress, or now I ain't gonna say oppress, but y'all try, you know what I'm saying, to oppress black people with white standard, or trying to live up to the white standard and trying to merge with whites and stuff like that, and act like that y'all them, and act like that y'all are different from blacks, or even that y'all are better than blacks in some instances and times, you know what I'm saying? But now y'all got this real I ain't gonna even say white guy or anything like that, because I like what's to say his definition from a real white guy or a fake white guy. But you got somebody who's opposing and oppressing you. Now this gonna happen to y'all next. This now ain't no like it is what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? It is, we been getting oppressed. Like, we ain't new to the oppression. Y'all act like we new to the oppression. Our people been living under these conditions. You know what I'm saying? But I don't wanna divvy off too much more in this. I think I kind of spent a lot of time on this little political, little debate and things like this. But I just for sure thought it was, crazy. And for any other body, that got their opinion, because y'all already know they like a-holes. Everybody got them, and everybody's opinion ain't gonna be the same, and everybody's opinion is going different at times. So, I welcome all opinions. Get in these chats, inboxes, let me know what y'all think and how y'all feel. You already know, man, it's the halfway and the half effect, man. We gonna comment. We gonna conclude this there. Make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe, because it don't cost you nothing to press that button. And if you ring that notification bell, I'm gonna bring you mail.
Keeping it real and showing love, absolutely free. Still some of the hardest shit for a lot of you bitch ass niggas to do. So if you ain't a bitch ass nigga, let me see you keep it real and show me some love and share this post right here, cake ass knuckle.